Welcome, everybody, to Broadway2LA, the Actors Podcast. I'm Chad J. Willett, your host, and we have one objective here, to make you, the listeners, a stronger actor. Let's go. My guest today, Mr. Ralph Scott, an award-winning actor, director, writer, and producer. Welcome, Mr. Ralph, my friend.
Thank you, Chad.
Yes.
Wonderful to be here.
Yes. You know, Ralph, we got 20 minutes. Let's jump into it.
Yeah.
For the actors. So, the moment before an actor takes the stage, right? He or she's in the wings, right? What should they be thinking about? Or before they go on the screen, before they're on a film set, before they cross onto the screen, the moment before, how do you prepare? What would you tell our listeners to prepare for the moment before?
The moment before, well, you have hopefully done a lot of character work before that. And also the given circumstances. You've got to, what has happened? What has led you up to this point? But what you're thinking of, you should be focusing in the moment and what you want. If the scene is I'm walking into a doctor's office, what do I want? What stands in my way? What do I do to get what I want? And also, the moment before, when you were getting out of your car, did you hit your head coming in to increase that? Anything that's going to get you to that reality. And everyone is different. But you've got to latch hold of something to make it real for yourself.
Yep. Uta Hagen, right?
Yes.
Huge coach, right. She said, do the opposite. So let me give you an example. I'll let you play off this. So Tennessee Williams, Glass Menagerie, right? Yep. You or I playing Tom Wingfield.
Okay.
He goes to the bar, right? He's getting drunk, right? He's working in the warehouse. He hates life. So she would say that moment before, if you and I are playing Tom Wingfield,
right,
we should be happy before we see mom, before he goes in and sees his mom. We should be in a happy state, happy emotional state. You're at the bar, you're with your friends, you're feeling great. And then the minute he walks on stage, sees his mom, they're pissed off and they argue, right? And then he's going to get angry. So she's saying play the opposite emotion before you land on stage or the screen.
I agree with that. I don't think I go against that?
Have you ever used
I didn't go against that in my describing it, did I?
No.
Okay, great.
You didn't go against it. I was just curious how you play that.
I mean, and it's basically what I just said. I mean, it's because the moment before, the given circumstances. If he was at the bar drinking with his friends and happy, I mean, that's, again, what were you doing beforehand? The moment before.
Yep.
And if the script doesn't provide you with that, then you've got to make it up. Yep. And what would and it's great taking the opposite. If I'm going into a scene that is supposed to be a celebration, I would maybe I saw something on social media that really depressed me, or I had a conversation with a friend or my wife or a friend that brought me down, and then you have somewhere to go. That's what she's trying to get to.
Got it.
You always have somewhere to go.
That's great. Well, so the prep, you're in the opposite emotion, then you go on stage, go on the screen, then you're going to a different emotion, a different place.
Yeah.
Okay. Love it. Larry Moss, huge LA acting coach, right? Staying on this moment before moment theme. Yeah, he said you don't want to miss a moment. So when you're acting, right, never miss a truthful response.
Right.
Which, again, I know I struggle with this. I don't know if you do as an actor.
I think everybody does.
Everybody, exactly. And he's saying, the more truthful responses you have, the more you are in the moment, right, obviously the more authentic your work's going to be.
Right.
For everyone listening to this, do you have any thoughts, tricks? I mean, just his point, like just never miss a truthful response.
There is certainly, I am not a fan of tricks. Tricks does not move you forward. It may get you past the moment, but it's never going to move you forward. No, it's always about the work and active listening. If you're actively listening and you know what you want and you know what stands in your way, you're going to naturally go after what you want. Yeah. But actively listening, I believe, is the key. You see some actors that are listening and they're just listening for their cue.
Yep.
Instead of actively listening and letting what you give me affect me and absorb in me. Yeah, for me, it's actively listening and going after what you want, because it's all storytelling. I mean, we watch. It goes all the way back, to Gunga and Brute when they're sitting around the campfire, cavemen talking about the hunt. How did you get that saber-toothed tiger? Well, me grab spear and I kill it. That's boring. But if he tells the whole story of chasing it through the forest and jumping over a rock, and then there was a woolly mammoth coming after him, he had to avoid that. That's exciting. It's about overcoming obstacles. And sometimes you win and sometimes you lose. I mean, Looney Tunes cartoons, the old Looney Tunes,
Yep.
those are some of the greatest acting lessons you'll ever see about going after an objective, failing, and they either succeed or they fail.
Love it. The Looney. I never even thought of that. Looney Tunes.
Yeah. Taught me everything I know.
Made you the actor you are.
Yeah.
That's awesome. On your point, because I get asked that a lot, at our studio,
right,
about a lot of, and everyone listening, like a lot of beginning actors are thinking of their next cue line, right? You're right. They're in a scene. Someone's
you
talking.
Shouldn't be. Yeah.
And those that are thinking of their next cue line, how do you break them up? Like,
you haven't done enough work yet. That's why. I mean, if you have, all right, let's just go with a scene.
Yep.
Because that's what the emotions are. You've got to read it 10, 20, 30 times, and then look at it and think, answer the question, what do I want in this scene? What stands in my way? What do I do to get what I want? Mike Nichols, the great Mike Nichols, writer, director, actor, graduate of Second City, says there's only 3 scenes. There's a love scene, a fight scene, and a negotiation. So figure out which one of the scenes that is. The greatest scenes are the ones that are all 3, because those move.
All 3 in one?
All 3 in one, yes. But usually, no, it's always at least one of those.
Okay.
So you have got to get that to where it is effortless. Now, every actor is different. Some people memorize so fast.
Yep.
It's amazing. Me, it takes me forever. But if I don't know it backwards and forwards, then I cannot actively listen. So when you're actively listening,
yep,
and you know your material, you've done your work. And this is not the fun work, it's the boring work.
Yep.
You've got to push yourself to do that. And then when you're actively listening, that's when the magic happens. That's when something will come out, oh, wow, I never even thought of doing it like that, but it just happened. Because your body will naturally react. Our brains are like computers. You got to put the right programming in. If you're not putting the right programming in, the program's not going to run properly.
Yep. You told me, Ralph, I love that. I know you're huge on prep. Do the work.
Yeah.
Right? If you don't do the work, there's no way you're going to actively listen.
Nope.
You're going to mail it in.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
You told me to write out the lines.
Sure.
Remember that, like 3 to 4 times, and anyone listening, like, that's huge for me. The actual pen to paper, it's huge. Like, that's how I get it in my head.
It's making that connection between with your mind and the script, and it connects you. Sometimes that works. 99% of the time it works, but there are people that it doesn't work. It messes with them.
Yep.
But you've got to. For all the young actors out there, go to different acting teachers. Find the ones that you can sync with. You can, and it's not all Meisner. It's not all, all these different, all these different techniques. Yeah. No, every person is different. You've got to take with what works for you. So in order to do that, you've got to explore all these different avenues and find out what does work. And you're going to fail, but failure is phenomenal. It's great. One of the great, John Ford, I think, said, the magic is in the mistakes. And it really is.
I love that. Magic is in the mistakes. Ralph, going back to the listeners real quick. Can you give them an idea, like, you played John F. Kennedy,
right,
in the play, right? And the listeners who don't know, what was the title of the play?
Price of Power.
The Price of Power. Ralph was John F. Kennedy. And I remember you talking about doing your homework. You said you were watching videos on Kennedy.
Oh, yeah.
Can you share some of that just for the listeners? And again, this, to me, I'm trying to tie it for the listeners, like the moment before, and do moment-to-moment acting. Like, to me, if anyone's listening, the people who are listening to this, this is how much work it takes, right? To get in this state where you can just go on stage
And naturally.
and, like you said,
Yeah.
forget the lines. They're
Yep.
there, right? And just be in the moment and react.
So when I found out that I was going to be in the role, the first thing I did, but I'm a huge JFK fan too.
Yeah, me too.
But I went and I would watch his news conferences, his press conferences. But most of what was in the play was stuff behind the scenes in the Oval Office when he was relaxed and being himself. So I tried to find as much of that as I could. Then, to get his cadence, you can go to the JFK library, and I did the same thing when I played LBJ for the final table. You can go get online and you can do all this for free. You listen to you can listen to the telephone conversations because they were all recorded at the White House.
Got it.
So until I was done, I woke up in the morning, had my cup of coffee, and I would either watch press conferences or I would listen to them. And I'd do that for about an hour. And then I would go to my script work and start memorizing lines and anything that was taken directly from history. This moment, there was the thing about the Bay of Pigs and stuff.
Yeah, baby. Yeah.
So I would find everything I could on that and research that, but it never stopped. But when we opened, it was always you can always be better, always. I had a lot of accolades. Everyone said that was amazing, that was wonderful, but still, at the end of the night, I would never go to bed without at least watching or listening to something, and then wake up in the morning and do the same thing again until the show was done.
Would you ever be, when you were on stage there at the Abbey Theater, would you ever be lost in the moment? Like at times, like would you actually think you are John F. Kennedy? This is you? Like
I always believe I was John. Yeah, I was John
Ralph
F.
was
Kennedy.
gone. It was just
yeah.
John F. Kennedy.
Yeah, because but again, you've got to do the work of to where you're not self-aware.
Yep.
And if you've done the work and you immerse yourself into it, your mind cannot help but be a sponge.
Yeah.
And the big thing is, again, it's that self-awareness. You cannot judge yourself. You don't have the right to judge yourself. You got to take that away. Because if you do, that leads to self-awareness and, I'm just a guy standing on stage pretending to be JFK. No. I adore jumping into another person's shoes because life is hard, man. It's really hard.
It's hard. Yep.
So to be able to jump into another person's shoes and to forget about your own problems for a little bit is very healing and helps immensely. And also helps when you then get back to your life. It's really not as bad as what you thought.
Yeah. That's beautiful, man. That's beautiful.
You were going to say something. I interrupted
Oh,
you.
no,
Sorry.
you kidding? When you're talking to the listeners here, right? Anyone listening to this podcast, would you agree with this? If they're self-aware, they're most likely never going to be in the moment acting.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because they're in their head.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, self-awareness is the death of any art.
Yeah.
Not just acting, music, paintings, anything of someone going, hey, look, sports, look at me, what the great thing I'm doing. No, no one wants to watch that.
You're done.
You're done. Yeah.
If someone starts to get in their head, there's, like you said, there's no tricks.
Focus on the other actor.
Is that what you go? Boom.
Focus on the other actor.
Once they start thinking they're in their head, they're losing focus. You're losing JFK. You're starting to lose focus on the other.
Focus on the other actor and really actively listen to what they are giving me. Because if you're actively listening, there's absolutely no way you can be self-aware. Or focus on your objective. Focus on what you want and what stands in your way. What am I going to do to get what I want?
Yep. No.
Anything other than focusing on yourself.
Right.
Anything.
The death.
Yeah.
I got one more question, I love what you said, though. Back to JFK real quick. Your prep. So you would listen for an hour to those tapes.
At least.
At least an hour.
Yeah.
The Oval Office tapes, his speeches, whatever it is, right?
Yep. Phone calls, news, everything.
So you're absorbing all that. right? And then after that, that's when you start working on the lines, after you absorb that for an hour.
That's what I did. Yeah. And sometimes it would go longer, depending on how far along I am on the lines. But for me, at least, that helped with my lines because, everybody has a cadence of how they talk. And JFK had a certain way he talked. But he was very relaxed the majority of the time when he was, when the cameras weren't on him. He was relaxed, but even when the cameras were on him, he was the first president to really charm the press corps.
Yep.
Because he was so relaxed. I hope that answers your question.
It does answer. Yeah, you kidding? It's great. No, and Ralph, this is so valuable, man. Love it. And the last thing, just the moment, trying to tie all this 20 minutes together, right? The moment before being on stage, going moment to moment acting, right? All the things you and I are talking about. And obviously all the listeners will know, right? The only way you can do that is what Ralph is saying. You got to do the work, you got to do the prep. Otherwise, my moment acting will never happen.
Yeah.
And the last thing, back to Larry Moss, he was saying, for actors, literally, when you step on stage or on screen, right? Literally, I have never heard this before. Right? That's what he's saying. That's where we have to be. Like you said, if we want that magical moment to happen, literally, when you step, even though you've done JFK, you've done this role 10 times.
Right.
The 11th time you go out, you literally have never heard this before.
Yeah. Again, you've got to find something else to focus on. Again, focus on the objective. I mean, if you enter the scene and think, my objective, I've already gotten it. No, that doesn't work. But also, if you want to make it fresh, you got to focus on that moment before. What has happened 15 minutes before or 3 hours before, and going specifically all the way up to that moment to where I'm getting ready to open the door to the Oval Office, but I trip on this stupid thing on the carpet that I always trip over coming on. I always think about it, but it's always there. Damn it. That helps you get out of your head.
Yep.
But everything has to be in the unknown. And you have to have the confidence. And if you've done the work, you have the confidence to throw it all away before you walk on stage or on screen.
Yep. Do you know the minute you walk on stage or on screen, whether that actor is going to play with you and be moment to moment, or they're in their head and they're waiting for the cue? I mean, can you tell your part, the minute, can you tell right away whether they're trained to play with you and be that moment-to-moment actor, or they're literally, you can
sure, everybody's,
you can tell right away.
God, yeah. I think any actor could.
And if you're acting with that actor that's in their head, you're doing your thing, you're listening, you're in your world, but they're not. Is there?
Well, then, again, judgment also is the death of an actor. Don't judge them. They're doing the best they can. No, you just focus again, actively listen, but don't judge. If you're actively listening and judging them, that's not the character.
You're done.
You're done.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, just actively listen to them. Of course, you're going to have preconceived notions of how they should play it, but that's none of your business. And if that's the way they're working, just listen. You have to find a way to make it work for yourself. But if you're judging what they're doing, that does not serve you at all. And again, it's going to do is work against you. Just accept. Life is all about discoveries and the unknown. So if you're playing that moment, you didn't know how this guy was. If you don't know the person.
Right.
But if it's your mother, then, hey, that's the way my mom talks. Fine. Or if it's your brother or your best friend that they're playing, hey, that's the way they are. Accept it. Move on.
Yeah.
Go after what you want.
Well, that's great, man. It's great. I love it. As we wrap up the first ever Broadway2LA podcast, Ralph, is there anything... I'll let you, sip on that. Anything you want to leave the listeners with, and I mean it, thank you so much for being here. I wanted you to kick this off, you and only you.
I appreciate that.
And I mean that. anything, let you think for a second, you know, everything talked about, moment before, being on stage, moment to moment acting, doing the work, not thinking about your lines, just anything, any final thoughts you want to give our listeners before we wrap up?
Yeah, if you're doing a play or a movie, it's tough with just scenes because you have to be much more imaginative. But if you know the movie or the play that the scene is from, then go and get that whole play or go watch that whole movie or read the screenplay of that whole movie. And you've got to do your character work. You can't build a house or a building on a weak foundation. So you have to build a strong foundation. So this is what I do. And plays are easier because plays, you have much more written word, whereas movies are much more visual. But every time I get a role, I take out 3 pieces of paper. On the top of one, what the author says about me. On the other one, what I say about myself. On the other one, what the other characters say about me. Then you go through the script. What the author says about me is all the stuff in italics of, Tom is
drunk.
Tom is a drunk, blah, 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 blah.
Yep.
You write that down. What I say about myself. There's always those lines in a play or a movie where a person is saying something about myself. I never wanted this, or they'll even tell you what they want. And then the other characters, what the other characters say about me. They're like, Tom is always this, Tom is that.
Right,
da, 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 da.
Doesn't work, a loser.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now you've got your foundation. You've got 3 things to go through. And that is also what I would do after listening to JFK and all that stuff. I will go through those 3 pages, which sometimes they can be 2 or 3 pages long.
Each one,
yeah. Depending on, how much the author is giving you. And that is very important because that's what the author is giving you. Okay? And that is the foundation that you build on. I read through those before I start learning my lines probably about 5 or 6 times.
Before you even go to your lines.
Before I even go to my lines. Because a lot of them, especially what I say about myself, are your lines.
Yeah.
But again, I said before that our brains are like computers. There's the perfect way to program yourself to start getting into this role and start stepping into the shoes of this character. And then it's so much easier to latch on to whatever emotional reality is in the scene or in these scenes.
What was the 3 about? Author?
What the author says about me, what I say about myself, what the other characters say about me.
Got it. To button that up, is that kind of how you get your viewpoint? For the actor?
Yeah.
For the character,
that's for the character. Yeah. I mean, again, it's building a strong foundation that then you can build on. Then you get to be creative and say, well, how do I interpret that line? Or how do I interpret what this character said about me? He says that I'm a bully. Okay, but why am I a bully? Maybe I was bullied. If the play or the story doesn't give that. But that's all that stuff of what I say about myself, what the other characters say, what the author says about me. That's when you get to be creative and use your personal experience and use whatever into building on top of that.
I love it. And actors that don't have that foundation are the ones that are just going out saying lines and waiting for cue.
Yeah.
Cue words.
Yeah. And if you're doing that, you're doing it wrong.
Let's end it there.
There we go.
Whee! All right, everyone. Thank you for listening to Broadway2LA, the Actors Podcast. Again, thank you, Ralph Scott.
Thank you for having me.
Love it. And everyone out there, we will see you next month. And have a great time preparing and listening to this podcast. And again, Chad Willett, the host, and we will see you soon.
Acting is believing.
Acting is believing.